Tradition. You can't buy it. It's earned the hard way over decades and eras. On the field, on the road, in the mud. With guts and with grit, and firm belief that today could be our day. The Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup is back. Still alive, still kicking, the oldest prize in American soccer. 96 teams, part-timers to major leaguers. Survive and move on, lose and you go home. So we call all underdogs, dreamers and believers. And we ask you again, one simple question. Are you up for the cup?
It's a foggy evening in Long Island, making the lines blur between rungs of the U.S. soccer ladder. It's the first round of the U.S. Open Cup, and we've got a great one here in Uniondale. USL League II powerhouse Long Island Rough Riders host the pros, USL League I unit Charlotte Independence. Welcome to the broadcast. My name is Mark Schoenster, Ross Davenport. We welcome you along here as we take a look at the first 22 players who will take the pitch here in this opening round clash between USL League II and USL League I. And we have gotten going here. Can't wait to see how this one unfolds. We've seen some wide disparities between some of the teams here in this competition. Some amateur clubs going up against top-notch professional teams, not only in the third division, but even second division. But Ross, this is a game here tonight where this may be one where that gap is a lot slimmer than some of the other games we've seen so far.
Yeah, Charlotte coming to the season a little short-handed. Mike Jeffries missing some guys due to visa issues and just general availability. Just picked up Christian Cheney recently. He's not ready to go to start. He goes on the bench tonight. Yeah, this should be an interesting one. And we'll see how much we can see on that far side, Mark.
Now, foggy night on Long Island. Perhaps add another layer of aura that this cup already provides for these games.
Where's the orange ball? I'm always begging for the orange ball, Mark. This is the night we need it.
This would be an adequate occasion for it, that's for certain. The Charlotte Independence team that had a decent amount of turnover from last year's squad. One of the objectives of getting younger as well. As Spielman will bend this over to the right-hand side. Charlotte Independence of USL League I, a third division professional side. Meanwhile, we've got a fourth division USL League II unit here in Long Island. Long Island, though, powerhouse of sorts in USL League II, have found pretty consistent success across their time.
Yeah, obviously a former professional outfit. Long Island Rough Riders now back in amateur status. Got to the quarterfinal back in their pro days in 1997. Second round's as far as they've got. It's dropping back down to the amateur ranks, but great season in USL League II, and most of that roster back here for this game. Local kids out of Hofstra, Monmouth, NYU, etc.
This is a game where, of course, those college players, they'll have a little bit of a sliver to prove here, if not a whole massive things to prove.
It's one of those things we see differently with some of the open division sides. Some of them in League Two, as well as NPSL, they bring players from all over the country. Obviously, they're not available at this point, the college players, because they're in college, sometimes hours away. One thing that Long Island does well is bring in the local kids. So they've got a pretty solid roster here with Jacob Woznicki up top for the home team. 9 goals as a grad student at Hofstra this past fall. Second round pick of the LA Galaxy last December.
This one kept in play, though the offside flag should have gone up.
I think it was off for Charlotte player, Mark. I think. That's why there was some claims, but linesman rightly kept his flag down.
So this will be Lundell Wheeler who throws this one back in. A little bit of a miscue there between two Jacks players. Long Island, a club that was founded all the way back in 1994. The Rough Riders from South Huntington, one of the oldest clubs in the entire USL system. For reference, that's 20 years prior to the founding of the Charlotte Independence.
Were you even alive in 1994?
You do not want the answer to that question.
Mike Jeffries coming in. 4 changes from the one that went over Richmond last Saturday. Luis Alvarez suspended for this game due to some cards in last year's competition. Jan Baquero injured. He came off the half-hour mark in that win over Richmond.
That's Carlo Rotaccio wearing the captain's armband today for the Rough Riders. 25 years old. One of the many New York natives on this team.
I mentioned Long Island's rich history in this competition. Charlotte, a little questionable there, a little susceptible to the upsets over the years. Lost to North Carolina Fusion U23s a couple of years ago. Florida Soccer Soldiers most famously back in 2019. Back in 2016, they lost to the Carolina Railhawks 5-0. Now obviously NCFC. All 5 of those goals came in extra time. Not a huge upset there, obviously. NCFC now in the championship where Charlotte were once.
Sorensen trying to thread that one forward. Talk about their woes in this competition, but last year was a bright spot in their history in the U.S. Open Cup.
For sure.
2025, we had that game in their opening round where they beat Vereinigung Erzgebirge.
Oh, you did, I did that game.
Yeah, we did do that
We had
game.
to practice that name quite a bit.
They went to Penn's the next game and won against South Carolina United Heat in a 0-0 draw. And then they had that wild 4-4 game with Rhode Island where both teams scored in extra time. So talking about scoring plenty of goals in the extra time period, that's another example. They won in Penn's in that one as well and would eventually lose in the 4th round to MLS side Atlanta United 3-0.
Nice little run there. Speaking of nice runs.
Going in is Rice, cleared away by Rotaccio.
Rice, the youngster, on a 25-day deal at the moment out of Chico State. Trying to earn himself a job here. Independents are a little short-handed.
Yeah, we always talk about how the team from the lower rank has a bunch of players looking to prove themselves, but that is not mutually exclusive. And now we get our first corner kick of the evening. Nathan Gray, another player trying to earn himself some minutes here for the Charlotte Independents, just 17 years old. Definitely a player worth keeping your eyes on. Sorensen lets that one roll out.
Charlotte going a little bit of a darker blue this year with their kits. It was more of a royal blue team over the years, but certainly with the navy here, I like them with the pinstripes.
Yeah, it looks very nice. I wish I could tell you who was over there as that ball gets lofted in. Still on the mixer. A dipping header did the first job, and then an extra touch, really taking it out of harm's way. How about that touch? Woznicki pushing it forward. He certainly has the quality to dance with any of these Independence players.
Yeah, you can see he's got physical talents there. Just waiting a little too long. He was waiting for help. Charlotte players getting back in numbers, poking it away.
Yeah, who are those players that are actually tracking back in that instance? Is it, or who are covering ground, I should say? Is it the defensive players returning for Charlotte, or are you getting reinforcements? Obviously, with your back towards them, it is kind of hard to gauge whether you need to push the tempo and just go at it yourself, or if you can wait for some of your teammates to give you assistance.
Throw in for the Rough Riders.
So, moment of stoppage here. Our head official, Ignacio Guzman.
Not sure what's going on.
Visit the LIRoughRiders.com for the latest news and information on the Long Island Rough Riders. View the 2025 Rough Riders home schedule. Check individual player statistics and
both sides will
more. Follow your favorite
meander their
team
way.
at the all-new LIRoughRiders.
Well, at least some of them going to the bench. Others will stay on the field. Well, 9 minutes into this one. Very interesting collision of clubs here between Charlotte Independence and Long Island, especially when you factor in that Long Island get the opportunity to host in this affair. Pretty chilly day up there in New York, 46 degrees. And you can see, of course, the fog that's taken over, so there's certainly promises of rain later in the night. These players will be crossing their fingers and hoping that they can get this one handled. So I believe that stoppage was for players observing Ramadan could finally have an opportunity to eat some food after fasting throughout the day.
Yeah, sunset scheduled for 7:08 in New York, so that makes sense. Yeah, it's been a bright start for the home side. We've seen some of these open division sides play a little timidly. We're certainly not here tonight. They're coming out pressing well. A chance here for Charlotte breaking the lines, though.
Rolling ball down that right hand. Service bouncing in. Well laid out to keep it away. That's Niklas Donhofer. The Austrian center back paired up with Rotaccio.
He had 4 goals on 5 shots on goal for LIU this past season. Not a bad return for a defender.
Efficient. He knew when to pick his battles. Obviously, you don't get too many of them as a defender. That one ushered out for a goal kick.
I'm going to assume most of them may have been headers
official
off set
match
pieces.
ball supplier of the USL and many elite leagues throughout
Some of the
Europe.
numbers can't tell you.
Visit us.select.
Speaking of set pieces, we almost had an Olympico in my game last night.
For the latest select products, specials,
In
and
Little Rock.
much more. Select.
Scooped out of the goal by the
The
Little Rock
player's
keeper.
choice.
Something to look out for tonight. That doesn't look too breezy out there.
Chip ball up ahead. Well placed. Here come the Rough Riders. Squared centrally, but both offensive players in the box committed forward. Neither holding up their run. So an offensive opportunity dealt with by Charlotte.
Yeah, one spot where Charlotte do have some experience tonight is at the back. Nick Spielman, Fabrice Nga, Clay Dimick, as well as Peleos Manu. Lots of minutes there at professional level.
Here's Haregi, one of their younger players, laying it out wide to Dimick. Donning the captain armband, which he has done for many years now. Dimick again, playing it back in centrally. Was looking to connect with Gray.
Yeah, good interception there by Carlo Rotaccio.
Goal kick for the Rough Riders.
Lovely through ball on the return here for Dimick. And a little diagonal run. Stayed on side. Pulled it back looking for Nathan Gray. And a good spot. Encouraging stuff here from the visitors.
Been a couple of biting moments for both sides here, 12 minutes through. Long Island, although their season doesn't start till May, their 2024 campaign was rather successful, captured the Metropolitan Conference crown, had a 9-1-2 record, which obviously qualified them for the playoffs last year in the USL League 2 playoffs. Pretty consistently a side that wins and has success at their level. They also, in a way, have the element of surprise coming into this game. Although they have the challenge of not being in season yet, they can also work the other way around. We got the chance to talk to Mike Jeffries, the head coach for Charlotte Independence earlier today. And he mentioned when it comes to preparing for this game,
Don't miss the Teddy
it's a little bit like a shot in the dark. You can only expect things. You don't really know for certain what you're going to see. He did mention his assistant coach, Dave Dixon, though, being very helpful with his massive background in college athletics. So they were pretty familiar with most of the names on this Long Island roster, which is basically all you had to go off of was who are going to be potentially in the 18 suiting up.
Those commentators, we were very happy to see them post their roster I think it was either last week or earlier this week. kind of losing that sense of surprise a little bit. Especially some of these open division sides full of mercenaries. Not the case here so much with Long Island. Naples United on Tuesday. They had a bunch of guys just one game contracts, basically game by game contracts. Opposition was Miami SC. Didn't really affect them. They came out with a nice 4-1 win.
This one given away. Bashir and Jive taking it forward. Rolls it to his right. This one rolled across the middle. Cleared away by Rotaccio. And now going the other direction is D'Ambrosio.
Yeah, Charlotte starting to find some success in those channels, making those defenders think about who to cover. Those diagonal runs.
Trying to find Jacob Friedman on this right-hand side.
Poor giveaway in the end by Eric Demora. Defenders out of position. Stanhover did come over well and help out his left back.
Sorensen runs out of real estate, so he plays it back.
Sorensen, the goal scorer in that win over Richmond, had to come off the bench for the injured John Baquero. Speaking of benches, mentioned Christian Cheney, League One scoring legend. I'm going to call him a League One scoring legend. Certainly a true center forward. Nice little late pickup for Charlotte. Let's see if he makes an appearance tonight.
I think he's got the resume. He's a backup legend in USL League One. Not only has he scored a bunch of goals, but he's scored some pretty big goals.
He's definitely a Fresno legend, having played, I think, for every conceivable team in Fresno, amateur, and semi-pro, and professional level.
Provides full-service replacement windows and doors. As the official partner of the Rough Riders, they bring the same dedication and excellence to your home improvement needs.
So basically,
renew your view.
To prepare for this game, Charlotte combined what they knew about these players and what they knew about how Long Island has played in the past. Luckily, Chris Megaludis has been the man in charge of this team for a little while now, so you're able to discern what it is that they're trying to do as a team under his tutelage. But certainly nowhere near as comprehensive as a league match when you've got tape and you've got a lot more background to dig into.
I think some coaches, especially the ones that love in-game tweaking, I think they perhaps love these challenges of playing these unknown teams.
Sis takes a shot, but it's straight down the middle.
Sis plays number 6 by nature, but loves to get forward towards the edge of the box. We've seen him score some screamers in USL League One. You see him coming from the right side of the screen in a second here, making that late run. Johnson found him. First touch just kind of took him right to where Patrick Osiecki was. It was an awkward shot in the end. Perhaps if he'd gone a little further to his left, he'd had a better chance of striking the target.
This game taking place at the Mitchell Athletic Complex in Uniondale, New York. A foggy day in Uniondale.
The complex also houses the former home of the New York Islanders hockey team, I learned today, the Nassau Coliseum.
How about that?
Still in existence. I was surprised to learn today. I thought perhaps they'd got rid of that stadium, but it's still there.
This one quickly taken. Spielman just had to deal with that nonsense. Hasn't bounced out yet. Now it has.
Throw-in for the Rough Riders.
Having the opportunity to play this game at home is exciting, Chris Megalodis said. And he mentioned, we're not going into this game thinking we're going to lose. As it's tapped back. Now more effectively booted away by Charlotte.
Mike Jeffries talked about the mentality side of things for his side. It's also the same for the amateurs, right? You can't come in being overawed by these professionals. A lot of these players, I'm sure, hope to have professional careers. That wasn't the moment there that's going to get you on a pro team. Just slipped out of the hands of Londell Wheeler. He's going to get another go at it, though, interestingly.
Yeah, lucky break.
Something you normally only see at U12 youth levels.
Ignacio Guzman being a generous referee today.
I like it, though. They didn't mean to do it. Just slipped out of his hands in these conditions. Yeah, so the mentality of these teams, you know, you've got to want to showcase yourself. We've seen players get signed to pro contracts just because of their performance in the US Open Cup. You never know who's watching.
It's always fun when you see a guy really tear it up in a game against a professional club, and then later that season that guy's wearing the jersey of the professional club he played against because that team is so impressed by his performance and they got to witness it firsthand.
So we've seen it, at the USL level as well. Championship teams that rotate players, they get some bench players get action and then end up starting for perhaps USL League One sides, etc. the next season.
Sis brings that one down, keeping it from trickling further forward. And then God will tap this back to Drew Romig, one of the goalkeepers for Charlotte this season. Coming over from Tormenta, another USL League One club. Talking about that mindset on the Long Island side of things, Chris Megalotis said, we're going into this game with the mindset that we're going to give everything that we have. And they may have an opportunity to throw a punch here. Ball ripped inside, punched away. Romig able to deal with it.
Almost hit well, but it was going to take something special to beat Drew Romig from there. Careful. Well, you can see it skidding off the turf surface here. Both goalkeepers are going to have to be very careful with their feet tonight.
Got to ensure you hit it cleanly. Don't want it spinning off the boot.
We'll see if the wind picks up as this game goes on.
Great. Tapping it over to his left-hand side. That's Hauregi.
Passing has been crisp in this one so far for both sides, despite the conditions. Both sides knocking it around nicely.
And not a lot of sloppiness, which, knock on wood in that regard, as he mentioned, given the conditions. And being that this is Charlotte's second game of the year, and it's Long Island's sort of 0th game of the year because they don't even play for another month, nearly another 2 months. It's a negative match almost.
I'm not sure if they got to play any friendlies. Normally they do against local college sides, obviously looking for some action in the spring before they head off to their respective League 2 sides. And they did Little Rock last night. They played against Central Arkansas the week before.
And love to just clash up with somebody.
Yeah, what a win that was last night for Little Rock Rangers. Certainly one of the upsets of the round so far.
Little Rock, Des Moines Menace, another one.
It should be called the Mercenaries, not the Menace. There's not many letters different. Picking up former MLS players in their mid to late 30s. It worked for them last night. It's worked for them in the past, too.
Yeah, it's almost getting to the point where Des Moines wins a game against a team higher in the pyramid than them. It's not as surprising as when you see another club do it. They certainly have a penchant for the cup set. It's going to be a high-intensity game. That's what we've learned about these Open Cup matches throughout the years. Mike Jeffries was telling me. And Long Island looking to cut something open. This shot may have suffered a deflection, but the call will be goal kick.
Fans, just a reminder that the concession area is
boy.
open and located at the entrance of the stadium.
You do have those high fences back there. They're not going to catch everything, though.
You talk about all of the pitfalls and risks of a game like this for a side like Charlotte. But Mike Jeffries also acknowledged that there's value to playing in a game like this, especially early in the year, to experience some of that intensity. I mean, this is game number 2 for Charlotte. So they're still trying to figure what it's going to look like this year as a side.
Yeah, we see quite a bit of turnover from last year. You mentioned Mike Jeffries wanting to get younger. He's doing that. Of course, he lost the likes of Juan Carlos Overground. Not an old man at 27, but lost impact now gone. Joel Johnson off to Westchester. Miguel Ibarragon, that's 3 guys in their 30s right there.
Gabriel Oberton upgrading to coaching as opposed to playing.
We're talking about Trezor Mbuyu before the game, without a club at the moment. He scored a good amount of USL League One goals. Only 28 years old. Nobody's picked him up yet. Maybe some of these guys will come back to the roster. And we saw Ryan Williams just re-signed with Detroit City in USL Championship a couple of weeks into the season. Sometimes when players are just hanging around on their couch for a couple of weeks, they suddenly get the itch and somebody gives them an offer and they come back. We'll see if that happens with any of these Independence veterans.
And sometimes you just got to wait for the unfortunate circumstance where a team starts struggling with injuries at a particular position and they need reinforcements.
Listen, these agents, they do it, as much as some people dislike them, they do a great job of looking out for their players, reaching out to coaches, and especially when they do have those injuries, as you said, Mark. Keeping tabs on all these teams, say, hey, I got a nice little number 6 you could have for relatively cheap.
Might I interest you in my client?
Listen, it's so easy now for highlights, right? Everybody, it's so easy to get access to them. The pro level, these guys all still have their YouTube channels and highlights from the previous
season. Visit LIRoughRiders.com for the latest news and information on the Long Island Rough Riders.
Certainly is ease of access to footage, but that makes the new challenge, as opposed to finding that diamond in the rough that used to be the scouting and recruiting task of these clubs. It's now about, can you convince a guy to come play for your side as opposed to somewhere else? Because if you pose any value at a particular level, the odds are that other clubs at your level are going to know about it.
It's also the same for these USL League 2 sides, right? If you can win a couple of games, if you can win a couple of games in a competition, get to the 3rd round, make a name for yourself, it'll attract the talent across the collegiate soccer world. Say, I want to come play for this team. I just saw what they did in the US Open Cup. So much of it's word of mouth at that level, right? You get teammates from one college coming to play with their buddies. Say, hey, I've got a good striker you need to sign.
Sis couldn't keep control of the ball there. And now Long Island will push. Usmanu able to deal with Woznicki there.
Yeah, good physical battle there between those two, shoulder to shoulder. Usmanu might have got away with a little hand on the one shoulder. No call from referee Guzman, though. No call on that one.
Nathan Gray wrapping his arm around Thonhofer. 26 minutes in, although Charlotte may have had a larger sum of chances in this one. Still pretty even-keeled matchup, which we nearly expected in this game. As we mentioned when it started, the margin of quality between these two sides thinner than that of some of the other matchups we've seen, at least from the outside looking in, going into a match. Usmanu pulling it up ahead, trying to get more bodies down. Long Island set up in their block. Wind-up shot suffers a couple of deflections. And then the slipping ball through won't connect with Rice. Rafael Jauregui let one fly and then tried the feed on the second go-around. Last time this Long Island Rough Riders team appeared in the Open Cup was back in 2018. This 2025 being their 10th appearance in the US Open Cup.
Obviously keep tabs on all the other games going on tonight in the US Open Cup. Especially potential cup sets for you. Portland Hearts of Pine in their first ever game. What a crowd they got there in Maine.
Oh yeah. Now hold that thought. Here's an opportunity squared across the middle. Improper connection. What an opportunity for Jacob Woznicki. I mean, that's an opportunity you can't pass up.
Yeah, the mistake was by Clay Dimmick. Fabrice Nga was slow getting back, and Woznicki from the penalty spot really should have done better. Almost had too much time, Mark. He wasn't sure whether to bring it down or strike it first time, and just sort of got caught in the middle and shanked it wide.
Well, he thought he had the ability to wait for it, and then Ngat came rushing in. Lamar plays it centrally. And a half-volleyed effort will sputter wide. And it's kept in bounds by Diaz.
Don't miss out on our Teddy Set
Miguel Diaz chips it up.
Purchase your
Searching for Woznicki and company.
The Rough Riders merchandise booth.
Jacob Friedman, number 12, here he's again on the ball. Has impressed me so far. Man out of Monmouth. 7 assists last season. Played alongside a couple of League One players. Anzikowski, Griffin Thomas. Monmouth, both gone to professional careers with the Greenville Triumph.
A competitive rival of the Charlotte Independents.
Hit some classics. He's getting a little loose here.
Spielman.
I mentioned Portland Hearts are piling up 2-0 at the half. Failense. And the other goals in the 4 matches going on. Tormenta up 1-0 against Harbor City. 0-0 here, obviously also 0-0 in Madison against Duluth. Nice little Midwest.
USL app. Stay tapped into everything across the USL, including the latest highlights.
So, USL League One team involved in all of these matches.
The official USL app now.
But the USL Championship also involved. A couple of clubs playing in this opening round.
Yeah, obviously the rest of the winners from this, we didn't get to talk about it much before the game because we had the quick kickoff, but the winners from this round will all face each other in the next rounds. In the next round 2 on April 1st and 2nd. No new teams entering the competition until the 3rd round. And the rest of those championship sides come in.
Oops. And Jai goes sliding, and he quickly grabs his left ankle. Looks like he's going to get back up on his feet. Held up, pulled up by a Rough Rider.
Didn't get his hands out. He almost hit his head on the turf. We saw that happen in my game last night. Face first into the turf in the first couple of minutes.
There's not a lot of give on turf either.
No, it hurts, especially with these conditions. Chance here for a dangerous ball into the box. Like this. And anytime that ball's in the box, it could ping around anywhere with these conditions. People slipping perhaps. Trying to get it under control.
That header will spin wide. Not a lot of pace to it either, so would have been pretty easy for Eric Demore to handle. You mentioned players from Monmouth. He's another one in that collection on this roster. Had a fantastic season as a redshirt junior. 0.74 goals against average, 8 clean sheets. That's very good at the college level.
Obviously a great soccer area in New York, New Jersey. There's so much talent, especially at the MLS level. Real Central New Jersey, perhaps looking to get into the pro ranks over the next couple of seasons. Stadium actually used to host quite a few US Open Cup games for the Metro Stars.
Here comes Woznicki, but he couldn't bring that ball in. He had so much real estate.
Yeah, Woznicki's been impressive. He's certainly one of the guys to watch. Picked up in the MLS draft by the Galaxy, as we mentioned. Obviously not offered a contract, but certainly a guy that I'm sure plenty of USL League One teams are keeping an eye on tonight.
Those draft picks don't always result in contracts, but one thing that it does indicate is that you impressed at the college level, at the Division I college level. And if you can do that, then you have a good opportunity to compete against the pro side, as that's nearly a mistake, and it may be punished for. Here they come. Ball squared centrally, tapped around.
And it's all over the place. Drew Romick, not sure where he was going.
Messy.
Yeah, his first touch let him down, as did his second one, and he just ended up trying to knock it to a teammate, but too many white jerseys around. They've been great with the pressing in this final third tonight. Long Island. Well, 7:30 games underway. Carolina Core hosting Soda City. FC Cincinnati 2 against New York Pan Cyprian.
You say Soda City?
Soda City. I have no idea where they're from, but I like the name.
I like going to Soda City when I have a pizza. D'Ambrosio. Taking it forward. He'll rip a shot. That had a lot of pace on it.
Just missed, but don't miss your chance to enter our Teddy Set Throw halftime contest. Purchase a Rough Riders hacky sack for just $1.
PA announcer, a smooth little commentary there into ad read.
That one was fizzing wide. Soda City from Columbia, South Carolina. I should know that, Mark, all things considered. Good little spell here, though, for the home team. You can open the scoring here, and that might change things.
Got to be careful, though, when you start finding some opportunities on one end. You don't want to get clumsy on the other side. That's exactly what can happen in a lot of these games. When you're the underdog, the moment you start feeling the promise of a goal, the higher quality side can punish you on the other end.
D'Ambrosio's is impressed tonight. Grad student, just finished up at Duke. After college at Charleston, he had 58 points in 51 games there. Former Torino Academy player out of Italy. He's keep an eye on those three. Ambrosio, Woznicki, James Freeman impressed tonight.
And all players who could potentially get on the score sheet. This one tapped through. Not fully cleared away. Play will go on. LeMay showing some pace. Shrugging off contact, then he's tangled up and taken down. And a yellow card has been issued. Pele Usmanu goes into the books.
Yellow card issued to number 3 on the Independents.
Yeah, he was the one that made the initial foul. Came on the way back. Clattered again. This time into Thomas LeMay.
Pele Usmanu.
A repeat offender in one sequence of events.
Give half a yellow each, Mark, for those two.
So now it'll be Leonardo D'Ambrosio. He'll stand all by himself for this dead ball, looking to see if he can place this one on a platter. A swath of white jerseys line up right at the edge of the penalty area. Marked by the yellow lines here on this football field.
It's 10 yards. Nathan Gray, and he gets it.
Ball bending down, not fully dealt with. I'll tell you what, Ross, it's very easy to discern what 10 yards is on this field.
It's a nice ball played in. Spielman got in a bit of trouble trying to deal with it. So got caught in two minds at that awkward height, Mark, this sort of waist height. What are you going to do with it? Ended up getting lucky and got it away.
Well, back heel earns a glance, which means Long Island will continue to push here.
Delivers world-class gear that combines innovation, style, and performance for every match.
But now a potential counterattack. Gray tracking this one down. Quickly plays it forward.
You can see what he was trying to do. He was trying to find the run of Sorensen, but never really got control of that ball. Unable to control the pace of it. Too much for Sorensen.
.38 minutes in.
Yeah, one shot on target for each team, 5 shots total for Long Island, 4 for Charlotte. A very close half, I'd say. Long Island probably had the best of the chances. Jacob Woznicki really should have put at least one of them away.
And his press has just won the ball back for Long Island. D'Ambrosio. A lot of physicality there from Spielman, and eventually it earns the whistle.
These college kids aren't afraid to mix it up physically. It is a big back line for Charlotte.
Gray Barnes, the Rough Riders
Dangerous
official
boy
luxury
from
rental
D'Ambrosio.
locations in Amityville, Bayshore, and Patchogue. Gray Barnes.
See Nicholas Stanhofer making his way forward. We talked about his goal-scoring prowess in college with his head. We think.
That one dips out well beyond the far post.
He was looking for Stanhofer perhaps to try and knock it back across, but there's too much air into that one.
Fans will come up on their last chance to enter the tennis set throw halftime contest.
So Charlotte Independence, after having played on Saturday. Quick turnaround here. I talked to Mike Jeffries asking him about what his approach lineup-wise is going to be in this game. Of course, starting 7 of the 11 guys who started in that match on Saturday. So there'd be a little bit of roster rotation, a little bit of guys getting more minutes, but the fact of the matter is they don't have a particularly deep roster right now. You touch base on visas, injuries, fitness, all reasons why they don't have the ability to even have 18 right now. Only 6 substitutions tonight. Also suspensions as well. A big piece to their team this year. Luis Alvarez serving a suspension after he got 3 yellow cards in last year's Open Cup.
Interesting to know what point Luis Alvarez remembered those cards. Or what point Mike Jeffries was told about him. One of those things that was so long ago.
That's like when a coach has to serve or even a player in general, as that was not fully dealt with, but it's able to make its way out. When a player or a coach has to serve a red card suspension after getting a red card in the final game of the season, and they, going into the season opener, realize, oh, wait, I cannot be there today.
Got a goal at Madison forward. Madison taking a 1-0 lead over Duluth. We're down to 10 men. Never something he wanted to be doing as an open division side.
Speaking of red cards, wow. D'Ambrosio can't get by the 2 defenders.
That was a good no call. Fabrice Ngah had position. D'Ambrosio just ran out of room and into Fabrice Ngah. Never a foul there. Did a good job tonight in Ignacio Guzman. Physical at times, but he's blown the whistle early enough and stopped any shenanigans.
Just 1 booking so far to Usmanu. A situation that I'd say was pretty justified given his 2 bouts of contact in the span of a couple moments.
Rough Riders with 60% of their attacks down the right channel so far. Making Independence down the left.
Gray had some room to operate, but he hits the brakes. Pulls that one through to Sis. They'll try to see if they can unlock this Long Island block.
Chris Megaludis there, Long Island coach, barking instructions.
Turn there from Rice. Back out to Ngah. They're inching down the field.
Pretty good playing career, Chris Megaludis. D1 St. Peter's and Stony Brook. And 1 game for the New York Red Bulls.
Yeah, that's one more than a lot of us.
Yes, played 20 times for Puerto Rico. Played in CONCACAF qualifying matches as well. He's also the coach at D2 Malloy University, Rockville Center.
Unlucky deflection there. Sorensen trying to make a turn, and it glances off his teammate Miles Rice.
Yeah, on the transition. Charlotte haven't been particularly impressive in the final third. They haven't made Eric DeMora do a whole lot so far tonight. Chris Megaludis will be very happy about that. He'll certainly perhaps be the happier coach here going into the break. Mike Jeffries has seen some bright things from his, say, a makeshift side, but he's obviously, we asked him about rotation. He said, I don't have enough players to really rotate much at all. The bench tonight full of youth players.
Now that'll be the next interesting question. Romig had that one deflected. Doesn't go towards goal. Charlotte fans will be heaving a sigh of relief. Once again, Woznicki causing some problems.
It's almost like Long Island are playing as you'd expect the pro side to play, pressing with confidence, forcing the goalkeeper to make potential mistakes. He let that bounce one time too many. That one could have easily ended up in the back of the net. Jeffrey's certainly going to have a word with Drew Romig at halftime, I would think, to be a little more positive, a little more confident.
And that's now the second time that things have gotten pretty tight back there for Romig when the ball's reached his feet.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have now entered stoppage time. The referee will keep the official time on the field.
Whoa. Careful. Oh, Rotesio whipping out with that hand. That could have ended up anywhere on Miles Rice.
So 45 minutes have transpired. Now it's up to our head official, Ignacio Guzman, to determine when this one has covered up all the makeup time.
I'd say 1 or 2 max. It's been a pretty well flowing first half. Not too many stoppages.
D'Ambrosio takes the shot. Not a bad looking ball, but it bends wide.
Yeah, 25 yards out. Romig always had it covered. Not enough curl on that from D'Ambrosio. Had a lot of time to sit and think about this one, though. Thought about going to his right foot when they went to his left. It's just closed him down. Never really going to threaten. Maybe this might do it here for this first half. It's been an entertaining one, Mark. Plenty of good quality soccer, all things considered. The conditions.
Both the, I guess, abstract and the more literal conditions, both on the pitch and also just where these teams are at in their season. Wouldn't have been too surprising to see some sloppy soccer, but instead, as you mentioned, been mostly crisp. A couple of awkward moments here and there, but all in all.
So I'm just glad there was no games in Chicago this week. My friend sent me photos this morning of 6 inches of snow in his car. Third week of March.
And that is where the first half will conclude. Scoreless between these two sides. A couple of chances apiece, but Long Island may be the happier of the two sides, having generated a couple of great opportunities. But as it stands right now, it's still anybody's game here from Uniondale, New York. 0-0 your score after 45+ minutes. We'll step aside. In about 10 or so minutes, we'll come back with the halftime stats and highlights, and then we'll get the second 45 minutes going for you here on the US Soccer YouTube channel. Take a drink, take a break, maybe go outside, get some air. We'll see you when the second half picks up.
Yeah, well, Rider fans, Teddy's down there getting ready for the Teddy Set Throw contest. Let's hear from Teddy. Fans, we are just moments away from our Teddy Said Throw contest. If you purchased your hacky sack, find a nice spot in the stands and get ready to throw your hacky sack in just a few minutes. Making their way out onto the field are tonight's minigame participants from MLS Go, Major League Soccer Youth Recreational Program dedicated to providing inclusive and high-quality soccer experience for boys and girls aged 4 to 14. Participants enjoy a fun and local soccer environment, wearing MLS club-branded uniforms and playing alongside friends in their community. Interested in participating in MLS Go? Check out www.globalcompetitions.com or speak to a Rough Riders customer service member tonight for more details. Let's give them a round of applause for their MLS Go efforts out there on the field. Okay, fans, we're 2 minutes away from our Teddy Said Throw contest. If you haven't purchased your hacky sack yet, now is the time to do so. If you have, find a nice spot in the stands, and soon we will give you the directions on how to win a new soccer ball. Fans, don't forget to visit our food trucks at our concession area, filled with delicious food for you, located at the entrance of the stadium. That's it. It's time in the stands for the Macarena. Macarena with Teddy. Follow along. Think you can do it better than Teddy? Make some noise and show us in the stands how to do the Macarena. Our MLS Go participants are tearing it up out there on the field. Let's hear it for them. All right, fans, we are ready for our Teddy Said Throw contest. When I say Teddy Said Throw, and only when I say Teddy Said Throw, toss your hacky sack closest to the new 2025 Rough Riders Soccer Ball. Teddy will decide whose hacky sack is closest to the ball, and they will win. All right, here we go, fans. Steady, set, go! Wow, look at that. No points for hitting Teddy. We're trying to get as close to the soccer ball as we can. Final 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, Teddy, tell us who the closest is. All right, our Teddy set for the winner is Kareem Fareed. Congratulations, Kareem Fareed, on winning a new Rough Riders soccer ball. Congratulations. Yay! Soccer game. USL app. Stay tapped into everything across the USL, including the latest highlights, scores, news, and exclusive chances to win. Download the official USL app now on Apple and Google Play stores. Sirius XM. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesday nights at 7 Eastern. Plus your live matches from the USL, MLS, English Premier League, and more on Sirius XM FC 157 and the new Sirius XM app. Great job. Lots of future Rough Riders out there.
We welcome you back here for the impending second half at the Mitchell Athletic Complex in the opening round of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup 110th edition. Mark Schoenster, Ross Davenport with you here on the U.S. Soccer YouTube channel. Scoreless after 45 minutes. For those of you who are just now tuning in, you picked a good time to flip on the stream and tune in because we're going to catch you up on everything that happened in that first half of action. It was a first half that at first it was Charlotte that got themselves acclimated into the game and had a handful of opportunities.
Yeah, lovely cutback ball here. Just got there just in time. Assist here. Oh, excuse me. Bashir and Jai. Pull back once again. Defender in the right place at the right time to cut it out.
It was a couple of opportunities for the Independents, but nothing that truly challenged Eric Demora, the goalkeeper. And then Long Island grew into the game, and then their chances even more poisonous and dangerous than their opposition's had.
Yeah, D'Ambrosio forcing a good save there from Drew Romig, who certainly had an up and down first half. Did Romig. Ambrosio again here. The ball, and this was the best chance of the game. As Nicky just let it roll a little too much across him. Too wide.
Another opportunity generated here. Well done by LeMay to get by the first defender. But then that one just clipping the outside of the boot. Ultimately, not of any danger. We highlighted D'Ambrosio for his impressive shift in the first half. And this was another opportunity he had, and maybe the best take of the game. Just wide. And then Romig, you talked about the up and downs. This was one of the downs that, luckily for Romig, did not deflect towards goal. Very well could have. Let's take a peek at those stats from the first half of action. Pretty even throughout, and numbers would back it up, and you would think it's not a surprise that the professional side is the one that holds a little bit more of the possession.
Yeah, XG for Charlotte only 0.14. Rough Riders have certainly created the most quality chances in that final third. Just not able to put any of them away yet.
So now, the question will be, can one of these sides claim the victory here in the second 45 minutes? Can they find the back of the net? Both have asked questions, but haven't been able to put that final touch to give them the advantage. Two substitutions readying for Mike Jeffrey's side. You can see Soaboy Moreau and Christian Cheney readying to sub in.
Yeah, you can't miss Christian Cheney. He'll be certainly big physical presence out there now. Certainly a different forward than Miles Rice. Long Island Rough Riders backline will have to be very aware of the difference he's going to make in this game.
Yeah, and that's going to be very interesting, especially as the game goes along and you start feeling that wear and tear, and then suddenly 6'2" bulldozer Christian Cheney's bumping into you.
We'll see if it results in a different tactic from Charlotte now. See if they go a little more direct, a little more route one. Play off him with his back to goal. He's so dangerous.
So two changes for Mike Jeffrey's side. Will be what makes the difference in this one for the visitors. The USL League One club having to come up north to play this USL League Two side.
Can't guarantee it, Mark, but this might be the first game between two teams with crests featuring gentlemen riding horses. We should have come up with a name for this derby, the Jockey Derby. James Jack. We think Teddy Roosevelt for the Rough Riders, who was part of the original Rough Riders.
It certainly bears a very close resemblance, and it's an image that is hard to mistake, I would say.
I would agree.
So, it is Charlotte who are ready to get going, and Long Island getting one last pep talk in before they trot back out there. We touched base on it quite a bit in the first half. Chris Megalotis, the coach for Long Island, Mentioned we're playing a very, very strong team, a professional team, but we have some very strong players ourselves. We know that they're going to give it everything that day to win. And they have put in a great shift so far. We just have to wait for the signal from Ignacio Guzman. Donning the red shirts today, the officiating crew. And here we go. Back here in Uniondale, 0-0 the scoreline. Will one of these sides punch one through here in the second half?
It looks like the rain's getting harder. It's hard to see, even harder to see now on that far side. You see the rain puddling a little bit behind the goal as well of Drew Remig.
It certainly sets a very dramatic scene for this one. A chance at some cup set glory for Long Island. For Charlotte. A nice tough challenge early on in their season, just one game into their league year. Of course, a couple of months removed from the start of league play for Long Island.
Substitutions at half for the Charlotte Independents. Now in the game, number 99. Christian Cheney replaces number 27, Miles Rice. And now in the game for the Independents, number 26, Sayu Abu Maru, who replaces number 10, Nathan
So the
Gray.
two substitutions now confirmed here for Charlotte Independents. Miles Rice and Nathan Gray subbed out of the game. USO League One veteran Christian Cheney steps in, along with Soboy Moreau.
Yeah, Miles Rice pretty ineffective in that first half. Did some good chasing, but no chances at all for him. Just didn't get the service he was looking for.
Well, it's like you said, Ross. Charlotte, when it came to their attacks, were much more potent in transition moments, which has sometimes been the case with these Charlotte Independence teams in years past. But when Long Island was organized and set up defensively, didn't have a ton of success finding good looks. And now Long Island will look to see on the offensive end if they can just be a tad bit sharper. They've been the ones with the most dangerous of opportunities. Chasing that one down.
Good job of keeping that in.
A lot of effort there from Leonardo D'Ambrosio, the Italian from Turin. Already talked about his resume a little bit. The Torino Academy product. That'll be a name that Serie A fans will recognize. Nick Spielman had to get that one right.
Long Island once again coming out on the front foot. Can you think if Jacob Woznicki one more quality chance, he might put it away. Came close in that first half. He is now on the ball.
Woznicki falls back to him and he fires! The fog won't hide how quality that goal was. Jacob Woznicki gives the home side the advantage. Right on cue, Ross. Just needed one more opportunity, and he smashes it home.
The throw in here. Good first touch, stuck with it. First shot was blocked off his chest, and on the volley, Drew Remig drifting towards his near post. The power just beat him. Woznicki beats the corner flag into submission as well. To say, probably a deserved lead for the home team.
From Bristol, Connecticut, Jacob Woznicki looking for a top 10 moment here for the Long Island Rough Riders. They are now in the driver's seat for this cup set. The League 2 side with a leg up on the League 1 unit.
Now Charlotte really have to try and push forward, get something going in this final third.
Alregi, go ahead.
They only had 9 touches in the opponent's box so far tonight. Let's take it 10.
That one punched away. And some contact will result in a free kick for Long Island. Jacob Woznicki, the forward, was a second-round pick out of LA, or was a second-round pick by LA Galaxy in the 2025 Super Draft. So a player who certainly has a resume.
Catholic Health is proud to be the Rough Riders' official healthcare provider. With 6 state-of-the-art hospitals.
Take a look at that strike one more time.
Catholic Health is perfectly equipped to meet your emergency, critical, and
I mean, that's a heads-up play right there by Woznicki, bouncing in front of him.
It fell nicely for him, but he still had a ton of work to do. 2 defenders in between him. He was a good ways out. Struck it so beautifully.
A quality strike. And now can the Jacks find a response? Dimmick has to play it back to Romig. A couple of shaky moments with the ball at his feet in the first half. But no pressure there, and he was able to handle it cleanly. They'll stay with Charlotte here. So, Rough Riders general manager Tanner Sands, in build up to this game, he mentioned that there's obviously a beauty to the tournament. You never know what can happen. To be able to play in front of our home fans, we believe we can make something special happen. And they've had one special goal. There's another in the working here. Woznicki cuts inside, through some defenders, and they'll have to hold it up.
The ball wasn't quite played with enough pace in front of Woznicki. And stride onto it and at least get a chance at finishing. Strike from distance.
And that one not on target. The effort by Osiecki.
Rough Riders' last goal scored by number 9, Jacob Woznicki.
Yeah, Charlotte with some work to do to avoid the latest in a list of cup sets they've suffered in this competition.
Here in the cold and damp environment of Long Island. Gonna have to fight to keep your spirits up. Jeffries was saying earlier today, do I miss 70 and sunny? Which is what it's like around right now in Charlotte. Yeah, of course, but this is pretty anticipated for this time of year in New York. Thonhofer rolling it out to Diaz. Miguel Diaz felt a tug from Sorensen.
Select.
Cheney trying to get his team going, trying to get the pace picked up.
Many elite leagues throughout Europe.
Second best to most balls tonight. First touches have not been great at times.
For the latest Select products, specials, and much, much more. Select, the player's choice.
There's enough talent on this field for Charlotte, certainly, to get themselves back in this game.
Cheney trying to get himself involved as well. A recent addition to this Charlotte team. Had 7 appearances for the Jacks back in 2020, which was obviously a rather unique season. Sis Gets that one out wide to Nga. Fabrice Nga with a cutting pass inside. Play will go on here.
Yeah, no foul, says Ignacio Guzman is looking for Clay Dimmick, pushing up from his right back spot.
Njai winds up the cross. Headed away. Charlotte will look to reload, but Woznicki causing some problems again.
Ooh, I think that one wasn't in play for Charlotte.
Adidas.
That would have been a potential goal-scoring chance for the home team.
Delivers
Bit of
world-class gear that
possession
combines
they've had in the final
innovation,
third in
style,
quite a
and
while for Charlotte.
for every match.
Managed a shot on goal, but encouraging for Mike Jeffries' men.
That one couldn't be handled. That's Sorensen.
We mentioned earlier Mike Jeffries talking about the mentality of his team, and this is where it's really going to be tested. They're going to try and fight back, or they just going to want to get in that warm bus. That was an incorrect decision. I think it came off the Ambrosio. Normally even themselves out the incorrect throwing calls as the game goes on. Referees, sometimes, especially when you're down in this coffin corner area with no AR to help you out.
One of the beauties in the game's imperfections is that it is imperfect at times. Imperfect from a playing standpoint, from the refereeing standpoint. So 56 minutes in. An early goal here in the second half, given the host side this 1-0 lead. Case you're coming in as far as a cup set watch is concerned. This has not been a game where Long Island has been bunkered down and just withstanding everything and got one breakaway chance and scored. These have been two teams exchanging punches at a fairly equal rate, and Long Island are the ones who are able to land the first blow.
You can see just the gap between the Charlotte midfield and that front line at the moment. It's just far too big. Pushing forward, but the long ball has not been there where it needs to be. Sorensen now is going to try one.
Cheney gets his chest on it. Now dealt with.
And that's where you want Cheney to be.
Tried to sneak that one through.
And more and more Charlotte push forward. We've seen how dangerous Long Island can be on the transition to light market times. Be careful to find themselves down 2 now.
Romig's got to have to get this one right, and he does. Romig slips up but gets it away. The important piece of the puzzle was executed cleanly. Cheney couldn't release that one in time. Had to reset his positioning before passing it. Oregi.
Anton Sorensen, the frustrated figure, trying to get the ball a little more quickly. The time it took, it allowed the Rough Riders defense to get back behind the ball.
Cheney with a touch, tried to slip it through. Now attempts to lay it out, he's fouled. And this is a free kick in a good spot. Another yellow card has been issued. The first one of the game for Long Island.
This one's going to go against Thomas May, I think. Actually, no. Sandhofer. Clumsy challenge, and now a chance for a set-piece strike. Christian Cheney clearly wants a piece of this one.
Also could be Omar Sis territory.
Yeah, discussion. Omar Sis kind of strolling.
Rough Rider yellow card issued to number 15, Nicholas.
No, he's right there. Take it back. Referee's making sure the wall is back 10, but it's very central here. It's going to take something special.
Eric Demora making sure the placement is perfect. 4-man wall for Long Island. Now make it 5. It'll either be Cheney or Nga. Cheney rips it. And that wasn't too far off target.
Well, it struck very well, just didn't quite have the dip on it. She challenged the flying Demoro, who was scrambling over to his right.
Visit LIRoughriders.com for the latest news.
Get it over the wall.
Long Island Rough Riders.
Didn't have the dip necessary, which is always the challenge. Can you get it up and down in time?
Every day at LIRoughriders.com.
To build on here for Charlotte, they've been needing a little bit of positivity. Try and get the momentum swinging back their way.
Lovely header to D'Ambrosio. And Nga has to get to that one. A little bit of hesitancy. Here's LeMay. Knocked out by Cheney. Substitution incoming. Once we get who's in and who's out, we'll confirm it for you. It's going to be a first change of the game.
Now
Chris Megaludis' side.
Number 11, Elias Kadori. He replaces number 9, Jacob
So the goal scorer, Jacob Woznicki. His night is over. And Elias Kadri will step in.
He's worked hard tonight, Woznicki. Interesting substitution, though. Certainly some fresh legs. Here's a look at what is the difference in this game so far. The wonderful strike from the MLS draft pick, Jacob Woznicki.
So 60 minutes in, 30 more minutes to go. It's that Woznicki goal that separates these two. And he has exited the game. No threats of a brace as Dimmick tries to catch up to that one. But tapped out first by Long Island. And Jai gallops by, sneaks this one in, couldn't connect. Moreau was there.
Got there just a split second earlier, that's 1-1. Point blank range. Work down this right side. Dimmick and Jai, what a ball in. Just didn't quite anticipate it enough.
That was right where it needed to be. And Jai with a bit of a hop step to pass one defender. And they're going to call a foul there. It did look like Njai cleanly got the ball. Though that doesn't always necessarily mean it's a clean play if the follow-through has got some studs involved.
He's going to find his way into the book. Certainly caught him a little high on the follow-through.
So Bashir and Jai with the yellow here.
Independence yellow card issued to number 11, Bashir Nadai.
Charlotte 1-0 to start the season as they won against Richmond over the weekend, 1-0. Bit of a nervy one, though. Anton Sorensen scoring the goal, courtesy of Luis Alvarez. And then they just had to hang in there to get it done. A lot of opportunities for Richmond, but a combination of lack of execution by the Kickers and a handful of saves from the goalkeeper, Matt Levy, gave them 3 points in their season opener.
Starting to grow into this game a little bit, though. More possession here over the last 10 minutes. Looking a little more confident. Next 5 or 10 minutes going to be critical for Long Island to weather this storm.
as the game wears on, too, they'll be more and more motivated to just hunker down and hang on.
You don't want to give them any free shots. Can't make any silly mistakes. Make them going to score, Charlotte. Force them to do the work themselves.
It's always a tough predicament when you're going to go up against a team at a higher ranking, which is, do you dare the pros to score a high-quality goal, which they're capable of doing, or do you play a little bit more aggressive, but then risk the chance of coughing up something easy?
Defended there by Patrick.
Just into the press box.
Sharon shy off balance. Knocks it out for a goal kick.
I think you mentioned it in the first half, Ross, when it comes to preparing for this game. A lot of unknown going in, at least for the side for Charlotte, because they don't know exactly what to expect from Long Island yet. There's not exactly as many resources to dive into and understand about your opponents. And you mentioned sometimes that can be pretty stimulating for coaches to read and react as the game happens. But it's also a challenge on the other side of things. Chris Migalotis said that this is definitely exciting for me as a coach as well. I love these challenges. I love the opportunity to be a head coach in this position. I mean, I'm just excited about it. I know the staff is as well, and they're stoked to be a part of this. I mean, who doesn't love to have the chance to punch up? And that's not exclusive to the players.
Yeah, that's just a chance to challenge yourself as a player and a coach. Mike Jeffries been around at Charlotte forever, and for good reason. Here's a chance now.
Trying to catch the goalie off his line. A little too much sailing on that one. Not a bad attempt, though, from Leonardo D'Ambrosio.
Meals proudly serves as the Rough Riders' official partner for training and hospitality meals. As Long Island's go-to provider of healthy, chef-prepared meal prep,
was a good idea. If that one lands in play, that has a high chance of scoring. It takes a level of composure to notice something like that. This is not a Rough Rider team that by any means is overwhelmed by the occasion. It's going to be something that can happen on these turf pitches, especially when they're wet. The ball is going to roll rather easily. A ton of resistance.
Proudly supporting the beautiful game. They bring excellence to every field.
Why is he taking his time with this goal kick? He find himself getting at least a warning soon from referee Guzman. Halfway through this second half, and Charlotte still yet to mount a real consistent threat in the final third, even with the addition of that man there, Christian Cheney. Looked a little more dangerous over the last 15 minutes. Still haven't tested Zamora much.
I want to reach the boot of Rafael Jauregui, just 20 years old. Came up through the Sacramento Republic Academy and has been with the USL Championship side for a couple of years now. Getting the opportunity to get some more meaningful minutes with Charlotte. Talking about him, Mike Jeffries said that he's a player who is tuned in every session. He's very clever with his ideas going forward. Has a good engine, can get out of tight situations with his feet. And now Sorensen taps it out. Dimmick's service. They have gone off the face of Wheeler, sliding in to stop that one. It's actually Thonhofer who deflected it. It's a corner kick for Charlotte.
Yeah, some big bodies in Navy making their way forward. Cheney obviously over 6 foot.
Driven service, and it was nearly an own goal, but some heroic work on the line.
Yeah, Jacob Freeman, I think it was there on the near post, saving his goalkeeper. I don't think Demora was going to get there. May
have been a dipping header from Charlotte, actually. that put it on frame as this one pops up. The volley sails over cross.
Golden chance there. Certainly one of the best of the game for the visitors. The long, deep corner, nodded back across. Jai was there. Barrow just couldn't finish it off. 3 yards out. Duluth have equalized, a man down against Madison. First game of the night is almost over. Portland Hearts are behind 4-0 over Filense.
You knew there was going to be some magic in that game for Portland being their home opener. Their first as a club. They'll be competing with Charlotte this year in USL League One. Usmanu playing it up ahead to Sis. 20 more minutes. Charlotte will be fishing for an equalizer. Long Island hanging on to that 1-0 lead for now.
All the good stuff so far in the second half has come through. Bashir and Jai is pushing a little further forward.
Throwing for the Rough Riders.
So 70 minutes in. The Rough Riders looking to tack in another great memory in their Open Cup history. Of course, the most memorable of them being a 4-3 comeback win back in 1997 on the road against New England Revolution. It was Jim Rooney who had 2 goals and an assist in that game. Etched his name forever in Rough Riders history. And then Tahir Muhammad, who scored the game winner, which meant they would get the opportunity to host a game against the New York, New Jersey Metro Stars, who were then in the MLS. The next round, they were bested in that one. But having already bested the MLS side forever in the lore of Rough Rider history, reaching the quarterfinals. Looking to add on another note to the record books.
Half-hearted appeals for handball. The referee, Guzman, waving it away.
Cleared up here in Uniondale. We got a fog through 70 minutes. Clearer vision now. And here come Long Island. Breaking down, ripping shot. Not on frame.
Get the latest score.
Turnover by Ngadi. He was out of position. Went to exactly where Ngadi was. Left fullback spot. See a car chasing back. Burning energy. Couldn't keep that strike down under pressure from Ngadi chasing back. The more Long Island can keep it down this end, the better.
Kadri, the lone substitute so far from Lyon. For those unacquainted, that's in France. So not someone from Long Island, New York, or the New York area. Oregi.
It's going to be a corner.
Just enough.
We've seen Charlotte cause chaos from corners here in the last 5 minutes. Another one coming up here. Sorensen to take again.
Independence corner.
Couple of good chances for the Jacks. Haven't been put away, though. It's still the lone goal from Woznicki that puts the somewhat underdogs in the lead. Service comes inside, swiped away. Eric Tamora, ready for the task.
Big save there. Long Island goalie. That's nice from Sis.
Keeps that from being a breakaway chance going the other direction. Lovely ball up ahead. Romig heads it away, but the offside flag would have canceled the opportunity anyway.
Look at this chance here. Cheney in the mix. Manu was there as well. Downward header. Always difficult for goalies when the ball's bouncing back up. Osiecki down. He's not quite ready to get up yet. Team's up 1-0. He's certainly going to let his teammates get a breather.
Osiecki, another part of the Monmouth club. Has 40 total starts as a junior. He had 4 goals and an assist last season. "15 more minutes here." Charlotte have been asking a lot of questions. But Long Island has been up for the task up to this point. Some good saves, a goal line clearance. Aregi sneaks that one inside, but it's escorted away. Dimmick loading it back up. Moreau, lovely ball inside. Cheney couldn't connect.
Well defended by Londell. Wheeler got his body between Cheney and the ball. He's waiting to pounce on this one. There's Christian Cheney behind there.
The Rough Riders
Goal
official
line in
rental
football.
rental partner
That's
with
good work by
locations
Wheeler.
in
His body
Amityville,
well.
Bayshore, and Patchogue.
Cheney applauds the ball in.
Great barn. Coming onto the field for the Rough Riders, number 6, Kyle Smith.
Substitution for Long Island.
Replaces number 7, Miguel Diaz.
Kyle Smith subs in for Miguel Diaz. Smith, a sophomore at Stony Brook. Such a challenge for this side to assemble a roster for this game. Got to make a lot of phone calls and a lot of moving parts. I mean, so many of these guys are in college. I mean, they got classes to be at, though. Luckily, spring break can either be an advantage in this case or a disadvantage if, well, they had plans to be going elsewhere.
Yeah, the beach versus US
Substitute
Open
into
Cup.
the game for the Rough Riders.
Especially when you're from New York, I think that's a close call. But I think US Open Cup will win for most of these guys every time.
Yeah, sacrificing that beautiful breeze, sand in your feet for this under 50-degree weather on a wet night in Long Island. Certainly won't feel as good, at least not physically. So if they can hang on to this one, victory would taste oh so sweet. And Ga chipping it ahead.
Off the pitch for the Rough Riders.
Just sort of a little bit aimlessly. Rough Riders defenders reading it well.
And number 12, Jacob Friedman.
I'm quite happy to have Charlotte knocking it around back here. Just stick with your markers on these long balls. There's Cheney.
Chesting it down. Cheney slips it through nicely. And it's in for Haregi. Charlotte leveling this one in.
That's what they've been trying to do ever since Christian Cheney came on. Find him in deep with his back to goal. Let him go to work. That's exactly what the big man did here. Lovely ball through to the advancing Haregi. And he finished it with aplomb. Charlotte right back in this one.
Rafael Haregi,
Independence goal scored by
already
number
mentioned from
15,
Sacramento.
Rafa Yaragi.
Mike Jeffrey said we felt he had a lot of good upside and just wasn't getting the minutes that he needed at this point in his career, just 20 years old. His second consecutive start. And he has made the most of it here in this offensive opportunity.
Now how will the youngsters respond here? First time they've really been put under some serious pressure tonight.
At this point, a pretty well-earned 1-1 scoreline for these two teams.
Yeah, Charlotte will be smelling blood now. Madison have retaken the lead against Duluth.
And another change before that goal. Jeremy Sharp subbing in for Lundell Wheeler.
Offside.
Always got to roll with the punches here in the U.S. Open Cup.
Foul here. It's going to be interesting to see what Chris Megalodis does now. Does he try to shut up shop a little more, play a little more deep, invite the attack from Charlotte, but get bodies behind the ball? Or do you continue to play brave soccer? We'll see over these next 10 minutes or so.
And certainly now have the keys to be more aggressive once again. Did seem like they were just holding on to counterattack opportunities, and that was about it. And now they don't have Woznicki out there, who is definitely their most dangerous prospect. Still some quality players, though. D'Ambrosio recently or previously highlighted. Cheney, too big to be taken down. And a teasing ball forward, cleared away. Demora just had to do something with it.
Now on to the Rough Riders, number 21.
Substitution for Long Island. Stephen Betts checks in.
Replaces number 3, Carlo Latasio.
So,
some fresh legs on. Try and stem the flow here. It's going a lot left to right over these last 10 minutes.
Carlo Rattaccio, the captain, subbing off. Stephen Betts stepping in. Drew Romig had to get that one right, and he did. Jump kick.
Yeah, almost just asking for him to bring that down, but that was the right play by Romig. Just get it out of there. Shoving the back there. Referee having a word in his ear from Maru, I think. Oh, no, excuse me. Jai.
.82 minutes through this one. Both goals being scored here in the second half. Fogg returning here to the Mitchell Athletic Complex. Brief moment where things cleared up. After being scored on, Charlotte arduously pushed for that response. Finally found it. 79th minute equalizer from Rafael Jauregui. Sorensen had that one poked away.
Just a little too casual from Sorensen. Not sure what to do with it.
Audrey couldn't keep it in bounds. The touch getting away from him. The winner of this one looking to move on to the second round of the U.S. Open Cup. We'll play another one of the teams participating over this week. Either April 1st or 2nd. Jauregui with a shift, taps it back. Dimmick's service, headed away. And rolling pass. Cheney getting double team, knocked outward.
Yeah, good pressure from behind there on Cheney, forcing the turnover. At least forcing him back the other way anyway.
Cheney takes a tumble. It's a free kick for Charlotte. These set pieces have been awfully dangerous for the Jacks.
The kind of place you want to be giving a free kick up.
Renewed by Anderson.
Game now.
Full service replacement windows and doors.
Making his way forward. Dimmick getting in
The
there.
official partner of the Rough Riders.
Sorensen has delivered some good balls in tonight. One more here, and we could find ourselves with Charlotte with a lead.
Sorensen. Lofted ball. Now the question is, did it make any contact with the goalkeeper? It did not.
I think it went out of play first. Just too much air into this one from Sorensen. I want that one. You can see head in hands immediately. Just got too much air underneath it.
Kadri, hopeful ball up the pitch. Romig, he's been much better here in the second half. Kadri takes it himself.
Ambrosio wanted the ball played in. Went for glory instead. Sweeper keeper clearance. Romig.
After a couple of spooks in the first 45 minutes, Romig has been pretty clean here in the second half. And got pulling it over to Dimmick. Ever since that goal was scored by Long Island, the majority of possession and opportunities falling in favor of the visitors.
72.8% possession now in the second half for Charlotte. Can they turn it into a late winner, perhaps?
Dimmick, lofted ball, claimed by the goalie Demora.
Cheney had nowhere to go, but threw a Long Island player. Well claimed there by Demora. Charlotte certainly doesn't want to have to go to extra time.
Luckily, they don't have a game this weekend. But either way, of course, they still have the tired legs from the previous game. They won't play till next Friday, back at home against the Chattanooga Red Wolves. Osiecki has that one knocked away from him. Island perhaps now look to see if they can enjoy some possession here. Romig is able to casually reach that one and give it back to his side. 2 more minutes plus stoppage time to go. Of course, if this one ends at the same scoreline we have now, 30 more minutes will be tacked on. Sorensen ahead for Cheney. Instead found Dino Feratovic. Dimmick able to earn the deflection. Another corner kick for the Jacks.
Yeah, Dimmick's been much more involved going forward in this second half. Sorensen will jog over and look for one of his better deliveries. It's been a bit hit or miss from him of late. Surely tired legs going the distance here.
Independence corner taken by number 10, Nathan Gray.
Here in the 90th minute, the Jacks have scrapped one back. That one way too much air underneath it. Headed back across. And now the volleyed effort from Nka. Lackluster.
It went deep again, looking for that same training ground move. Did pull it off this time. Well, we're ready for it. So Demora will take his time here.
I mean, if you're Long Island, do you really want to go to extra time either?
Not with the way things have been going, perhaps the last half an hour, but their best chance to win this one might be from the penalty spot. Question if they got the legs to hold on. Obviously, Charlotte, not many senior players. I think the Shields is the only senior player left on the bench, outfield-wise. Everybody else is a teenager.
And just TJ Bernhard on the bench.
Ladies
Field player-wise
and
for
gentlemen,
Long
we have
Island now.
at stoppage time. The referee will keep the official time on the field.
So no sign to indicate how much stoppage time we've got here. So it's all up to Ignacio Guzman. Once again, I don't think we had too many stoppages here in the second half, Ross.
Well, maybe a couple of minutes like we had in the first.
Sorensen. Trapped in a corner, loses the ball, but that clearance, or whether it was an attempted pass, either way, not what Long Island needed. And Gott trying to send that one into the 18. And now Kadri has it. Kadri gets bested by Usmanu.
Physicality from Usmanu.
Young defender needed to do well there, or else it was a breakaway chance. Now Hauregi scored the first goal. Dimmick was offside.
Offside.
I would anticipate that whistle being sounded at any moment.
Oof. That's close.
That's a tough call. The assistant official, though, having a pretty clear point of view, so his angle better than ours. And Gott holds it to his left. Lofted ball up for Cheney. Took contact to Thunhofer. How much more time have we got in this one? Long Island could spring a counterattack. D'Ambrosio enters the 18, squares it. Couldn't reach Kadri. How about that challenge? Goes out for a Charlotte throw-in.
He's very upset, as is John. They want a yellow card out there. Just some studs up on that challenge. No call, though. Certainly got to be close to the end here, Mark.
Spielman holds on to it. Players being ushered forward. Sorensen. Still Anton Sorensen. Switches the point of attack. Service sent inside. Cleaned by Demora. Can Long Island push one more trek? Played over top. It'll be Romig who gets there first. More time been added on than either Ross or I anticipated. Fog is cleared up once again as Long Island search for their moment. Sharp's ball lofted in. Ultimately, no danger to come of it. Dimmick up the touchline. Cheney goes out for a Charlotte throw. Oregi to Dimmick. Clay Dimmick with the bending ball. Stuck between shot and cross there.
Attention fans, at the end of the game,
here.
the Rough Riders will be signing
Perhaps
autographs
taken
at
one more
field
touch
level.
and then fired it in. Cheney was waiting on the
Rough Rider
penalty
player.
spot, but that may do it here, at least for the 90.
And there's the whistle from Ignacio Guzman. We've got 30 more minutes of bonus soccer for you here in Uniondale, New York. 1-1 after 90. 2 goals here in the second half. An early one scored by Woznicki. But ever since then,
At the end of 2 halves,
the pro side, Charlotte Independence,
1-1.
have responded in fervent fashion.
Now go into overtime.
So let's revisit how we got here with the full-time highlights. And it starts with the goal from Woznicki.
First of all, first half had earlier chances as well. This one, what a strike. And out of Hofstra on the volley.
Knuckles in from the number 9. And then it was a bevy of chances, including this goal line clearance that kept Long Island in the lead for a good chunk of this game. But then, 30 minutes after the goal was scored by Woznicki, it would eventually break through for Charlotte Independence and got the bending ball inside. This one wouldn't go through either. Great stop from Demora. Here's what ultimately drew this game level. Pretty classic Christian Cheney here, playing that hold-up number 9.
Lovely assist. An equally lovely finish. That's the advancing Demora.
There would be one opportunity, a couple at least for Long Island, but the majority of the second half was played in Long Island's defensive half, with Charlotte Independence knocking on the door incessantly. One counterattack opportunity here late in the game. D'Ambrosio couldn't find Kadri. And that is how we find ourselves here at the 1-1 score line. So as I mentioned before, 30 more minutes split into 2 15-minute periods. One more substitution window, which I think, Ross, we should touch base on again. Just one field player available for Long Island and just one veteran presence in the field for Mike Jeffries to look into. Also has 2 academy players to choose from, along with, of course, both sides having their substitute goalie, which hopefully that's not what you have to use your substitution window on. But you never know. The Open Cup is full of crazy occurrences.
We saw a backup goalie come in extra time. Forget which game it was on Tuesday. He ended up taking a penalty and scored it in the shootout. Coming up because they were out of subs, out of outfield subs. One of their players got hurt and they had to bring on the goalie.
against the pro side. Meanwhile, for this Charlotte Independence team, this game, chance for players to further gel up as teammates. Just game number 2 on the competitive calendar.
Monmouth did end their season back in November with a double overtime game. Lost to UNC Wilmington. Demora, Friedman, Osiecki all played in that game. Obviously a long time ago now. I'm sure it seems like a forever ago for these boys.
May seem like forever ago, but also you can always imagine that one sticks in their minds.
That one did end up going to penalties as well.
So what will these bonus 2 periods provide for us? Sorensen, nice touch inside. Cheney has some space, takes the shot, well off target.
I mentioned goalies taking penalties. Eric Demora did take a penalty and made it in that shootout. Lost to UNCW.
I think goalies are deceptively good at taking penalty kicks.
Most of them don't think about it much and just smash it to various degrees of success.
Fans, in overtime, we will be playing 2 15-minute halves. No golden goal.
They've really run away with that one against Duluth. 5-1 now. 4 goals in the last 20 minutes for the Mingos. Tormented with a 3-0 win over Harbor City. They scored a couple late as well. Carolina Court 3-0 up on Soda City. We'll see some extra eyes on this game now.
Now, this seems to be the game to watch tonight, Ross. Kind of anticipated it going in. You mentioned the somewhat infamous reputation the Independents have in this tournament, having been the victims of a couple of cup sets. Sorensen tried to drive through, couldn't split the defenders. Couple that reputation with the positive resume that this Long Island team has.
That was great defensive work there by the substitute, Jeremy Sharp. Sorensen still running. A long night for him, taking the set pieces as well.
D'Ambrosio has Kodry inside. He'll find him now. The ball goes back out to D'Ambrosio. Couldn't quite keep it in play, but it will be a deep throw-in for Fabrice Nga and the Charlotte Independents. Sorensen has it once more. That'll be the skipper, Clay Dimmick, taking it forward.
An engine on that guy.
Yeah, the wingers for the Charlotte Independence team. Seemingly endless motor.
Old boys working hard tonight too in these conditions. Shout out to them.
Yeah, I hope he has some hand warmers in his pockets.
They got pockets, that's enough for these kids, Mark. Well, don't spoil it.
And Nga.
Good teasing ball from the
tempting
fullback.
service. That'll be a throw-in. And the attacking third for the Jacks. So we do have Mike DeShields in the game now for Charlotte Independence. That change being made at the extra time interval. Subbing in for Bashir and Jai, who was on a yellow card.
Fresh legs from Mike Jeffries, and he needs it. He's seeing some tiring ones out there from his veterans. Being forced backwards now. The last place you want to run when you have tired legs is backwards. Always feels better to run forwards.
Nga. Haregi sneaking that one through. Nearly connecting with Sis. Five minutes into the first of two 15-minute periods. If we are still level after 30 minutes, we'll be going to the penalty spot. D'Ambrosio to Kadri. Lovely ball through, volleyed effort straight down the middle. Tomas Lamar giving it a go.
Yeah, first chance in a while for the home team. Things getting spread out now. Lots of space out there. Some people tuning over from the U.S. Panama. Panama with the win, 1-0. Disappointing. CONCACAF Nations League, Canada, Mexico coming up later in the other semifinal. Chance once again on the volley, didn't quite catch it purely. Lamar, tired legs. Perhaps coming into play there. Careful.
Romig able to handle that one off the header. Lofting ahead, looking for Moreau. Wind up shot. Well off target. Wasn't connected with nicely.
Trying to pin Rough Riders in here.
Quite the long distance trek this game has been, and will continue to be. Charlotte Independence looking to wear down this USL League 2 side. A side that hasn't been able to spend as much time together. Haven't been able to spend every day training with a special staff that's their entire job is to make sure you're in as best shape as you could possibly be. Now, all that being said, they're still working to get into match fitness, a lot of these players. So probably more minutes being asked of many of these guys than perhaps what they would like in this situation. Another yellow card issued. There's a peek at that contact.
Yeah, just the extra shove. Cheney shoulder to shoulder for a while, him and Aseki, and
Leo
just got the
D'Ambrosio.
better of him, and then a little nudge in the back. It's going to be a yellow card down deep in this territory.
Leonardo D'Ambrosio going into the books. Sorensen, his boots have been busy today trying to whip in the cross. That one pretty tempting, but it couldn't be brought down. Hits the upright.
Goal kick for the Rough Riders.
Good defending again by Long Island, just doing enough. Put off, I think it was Moreau in the mix there. And Charlotte have had quite a bit of experience in penalties of late. The USL Cup tied games went to PKs last season, the Jägermeister Cup, I should say. So plenty of experience. They went to PKs 4 times last season in the USL Cup, twice in the US Open Cup in 2024. They went 3-3 in the end, Charlotte.
The Jägermeister Cup. Those penalties always a very odd scenario because when you have penalties in a, I guess, a round robin match, it's not usual to have that and to have penalties and it not be the highest of stakes. Now, obviously, an extra point was on a line in those games, so there was something there to be won in penalties. So usually if you're going to the penalty spot, it's a high intensity win or go home situation. As pressure here, nearly earning an opportunity for the Jacks. Just offers some different dynamics in that regard. So much, of course, of the drama and the intensity and challenge of penalty kicks is the mental burden it puts the player and the goalkeepers under.
Goalkeepers are under no pressure in penalties, Mark. Coming from me, you just want to have fun. You're either the hero or, oh well, we lost on PKs. You're not supposed to save them. I used to love PK shootouts as a keeper.
Sorensen taps this one through, but Cheney can't get there.
Yeah, ball just skidding off the wet turf. Charlotte are 2-1 in US Open Cup penalty shootouts. Beat Rhode Island and South Carolina United Heat last season. Lost back in 2019 to the Florida Soccer Soldiers.
Club name that'll always go down
yes.
in history in the US Open Cup lore.
It'll definitely live. It's a good name on its own anyway. The Long Island boys have been Soccer Soldiers tonight against the pros. Trying to hang in there. At least get this one. It's penalties unless they can somehow find a late winner themselves. Referee Guzman having a word with somebody out of shot.
For over 100 minutes. These two teams have fought. Perhaps when you are competing so hardly for that long, it's going to result in some edge between the two sides. So peacemaking need to be done by Ignacio Guzman.
No, he's done a great job tonight, referee. It's the first time he's really had to step in. The guys are still going out a little bit.
And you mentioned there hasn't been too much chirping and tension between these two sides up until this point. So now a conversation will be had with Chris Megaludis. Now we can get back to play here. Jeremy Sharp launches this one down the field. Brought down by D'Ambrosio. D'Ambrosio still with it. He's taken down. Clean challenge. Sorensen will switch it. Jack's pushing the other direction. Dimmick. Lofted ball up. Cheney! He knows how to score big goals. And he also knows how to celebrate. The recent acquisition acquires a goal in this one.
Yeah, the pressure just finally telling the switch of play. Tired legs from Allen trying to get over there.
Independence goal scored by number 99.
Cheney here. Just lurking at the edge of the box, finding a soft spot in the defense, and that's a fine finish. Eric Demore caught a little flat-footed. His weight going backwards, couldn't get to that ball.
Christian Cheney, 30 years old, spent the last 2 years with fellow USL League One side forward Madison. They were goal happy tonight. Christian Cheney now with a goal and an assist in this game. He had 23 finishes in the last 2 years with the Mingos. And now he's officially opened his scoring account with the Jacks here in 2025. And Christian Cheney played for Forward Madison last year in the opening round of the Open Cup. Christian Cheney was able to score twice. He's one who shows up for these cup competitions. On the other end, volleyed effort. Headed out for a corner. First time in the match that Long Island has trailed.
Yeah, now just got to throw body forwards. Nothing to lose here for the home team. Hopefully, I'll take it as a positive now. After trying to hold on for so long, now they just have to give it all in the final third. Doesn't matter whether you lose 2-1 or 3-1. Also some tight legs on this independent side as well, for sure. Still 15 minutes to go after this 15. Ooh, careful.
Cheney puts this one away. Back out for another corner from the right hand.
Another corner
Grabbed.
for the Rough Riders.
Goal and an assist for Christian Cheney. Mike Jeffries will be happy to see that, considering he hasn't played another season yet until tonight.
From the right corner flag. Headed back into the mixer. Volleyed shot, and it's in! Long Island bring it level! Before the period break, the home side respond quickly. Elias Kadri with a clean volley.
Corner into that back post. Knocked back across. There's Kadri making about 16 yards, 14 yards out. Another beautiful strike. See what that means to him.
They won't say die. Long Island, resilient. This one's not over yet, folks. Sorensen now. Sifting ball inside, but no one was making the run, at least not early enough. What a dramatic game we have had here. Charlotte Independence really taking the reins on this one ever since that opening goal by Long Island. Scored to send it to extra time. Took the lead just moments ago, but the Rough Riders off a corner kick and a superb from Kadri. Bringing this one back to even standing. We still got another moment here before we take a quick break.
I think Guzman having to sort things out here.
Certainly had some stoppage earlier when the confrontation took place. And so there's the whistle. A brief interval now as both sides
That's the end of the first overtime period.
exchanged an extra blow. And we're still all tied up.
Charlotte Independence 2.
2 quality goals scored in these extra 15 minutes. Christian Cheney tracking back, contorting his body to place it in the bottom right corner. And then Kadri with the volley. And why not? Let's revisit those goals. Clay Dimmick picking it up near his own penalty area and then carrying this one all the way down the field. And then Cheney displaying his quality.
First time volley finish. And once again, almost goes back to goal like he was in the first goal with the assist. But what this cup's all about. Long Island not going away from the set piece. That wasn't paying enough attention to that man, Elias Kadri. Another quality finish on the volley. Some great goals tonight on both sides.
Kadri, a bit of a journeyman in the college ranks. Started at Northeastern Junior College, spent 2 years there. Spent last season at Gardner-Webb, and is going to be playing for the University of New Hampshire in the fall. will have a story to tell as he meets his new teammates when he goes there for the fall semester. We've got 15 more minutes. Still no separation here.
These tired legs may come into effect when it comes to penalties. Charlotte, we mentioned, only with youngsters on the bench. Certainly not a spot we're going to be putting them in under this much pressure at the moment.
Yvonne Bonus and Matthew Arango, the two field options. You already talked about it though, Ross. Backup keeper stepped in and took a penalty kick already in this first round of the U.S. Open Cup. Matt Levy, he's 25 years old. He's got a little bit more experience under his belt. Of course, not a ton of reps at the professional ranks, having sat behind Austin Pack these past few years for the Charlotte Independents, but maybe if you come to the end of this second period, maybe you think about subbing him in just to get someone a little bit more fresh to go up and take a strike.
Yeah, obviously different coaches have different philosophies when it comes to penalty kicks. Some like to come in with their first 5 picked and then the rest, but some just like to say, hey, who wants to take a penalty? See who the confident players are when things are all said and done.
So 15 more minutes in what has been a hotly contested affair. Charlotte, over the 105 minutes, may have been the more stable side, but Long Island having shown a lot of courage in this one. Spielman, lay this one off for Omar Sis. Usmanu. Just tap it for Nga. The Jacks will once again methodically move their way down the pitch. Lanes and avenues going to be more open than they were earlier in the game. Rolling ball inside, not fully cleared, and it skips in. The Jacks are back up top. It's a second goal for Rafael Jauregui.
Quality strike. We talked about physical tiredness, but it's the mental tiredness factor as well. Long Island just switched off for just a second. The poor clearance, as you mentioned, Mark. So Sorensen again with the ball in. Yeah, just a half clearance, and that's a superb finish.
Skip that one across the turf. Picks out a corner. And the 20-year-old
cramping. They're certainly making a case to see more minutes in USL League action with the way he's played tonight.
The Academy product from Sac Republic has spent 5 years with the first team. 54 appearances over those 5 years, so about averaging 10 showings a season. Has 1 goal and 3 assists over that time. Again, Mike Jeffrey said they felt he was a player who deserved to get more minutes to really blossom.
Independence goal score.
Now we're going to get a substitution here for Mike Jeffrey's side, and one of those teenagers are going to come into the game. Matthew Arango.
Jauregui. He's also now
17 years old from Charlotte, North Carolina. It's his second year
Matthew Arango
around the club.
Well, we've been entertained, Mark.
Certainly.
Fog's gone away and the goals have come flowing instead. Can Long Island somehow find their way back into this one again?
They found a very quick response the first time around. There's going to be about 12 more minutes for the home side to find an equalizer.
Another sub coming in for the Rough Riders.
This one played up the pitch. Cheney with the cross inside. Dealt with by the Rough Riders. Currently the go-ahead goal scored by Rafael Haregi. Charlotte will now be looking to hang tight to that lead for the rest of this affair. They've already gone longer with this lead this go-around than they did on the first occasion. So that last field player, TJ Bernhardt, preparing to sub on.
They were asking if he was going to come on, and he said, no, just not yet.
Not quite. In due time. Sorensen, who has been running up and down the field throughout this one. Finding his touch.
Now
starting to wear out a little bit.
Number 17.
So TJ Bernhardt now officially in the game.
Replaces number 8, Patrick Osecki.
So after 110 minutes, Patrick Osiecki sees his night come to a conclusion.
Yeah, the Charlotte clinicality in moments where it's mattered has really been the difference tonight in this one. Some superb finishing as well from Long Island, has to be said.
This is a long ball down the field. LeMay trying to get a piece of that one. Cheney will take his time to distribute.
Speaking of Cheney, his entrance into this game really changed things. Just changed the look for the Independents. They didn't have much up top as Rice was in earlier, but Cheney's just such a physical threat, even off the ball.
Well, he provides such a nice backboard to work off of. You can lob the ball his way, he'll bring it down and then distribute from there.
Throwing for the Rough Riders.
Kadri, who scored that equalizing goal, and it was a nice one, was able to fight for a throw-in.
Yeah, he came on as a sub, so you can see he's still got some legs left in him. Give up these kids. Obviously $50,000 on the line for the last remaining Open Division team. Chances of that fading away, obviously, for the Rough Riders, but you never know.
Skipping ball goes through.
Oops.
Play on. Time starting to become of the essence now for Long Island. Kadri had that one knocked away from him. Quickly thrown back in play. You can see Long Island starting to commit numbers forward. Can they jar something open here?
See Cincinnati 2 and New York Pan Cyprian also going to extra time. Flip over to that one after this game is over on the YouTube US Soccer channel.
Sorensen able to dish that one to his left. Looking to find Arango. They're subbed in. for the man who now has a brace in this game, Haregi. Had those cramps after scoring, so I think a reasonable time to bow out of the game. As it stands, the game-winning goal. Romig will take as much time as he can.
Charlotte do hold on here. They'll go into the pot. And we'll try to keep the matches localized for the next round. Reduce travel on some teams. Carolina Core with a win tonight. Maybe they'll be a potential opponent for Charlotte. They knocked off Soda City 4-2 earlier tonight.
Sorensen poking ahead to Dimmick. Dimmick across the center, looking for that assurance.
Those Greenville winners the other night. Not a long trip between those two cities. A couple of potential matchups there for Charlotte in the next round if they can hold on for these last 5 or so minutes here. Knock off a gallant Long Island Rough Riders side.
Romig anticipates it coming in, is able to bring it down. Could kill more time by falling on top of it. Under 5 minutes to go. And what has been a marathon of a game.
So one late game tonight, Tacoma Defiance against Washington AC. And then we do have one match tomorrow. Union Omaha against Flatirons. That game postponed.
Another club that etched their name into Open Cup lore, Union Omaha.
Did have a great run a couple of years ago. Oops, a little heavy touch there, got away with it, did Demora.
Legs at this point feeling like they're made of heavy metal.
Controversial decision there by referee Guzman. You can see the reaction from the Long Island bench. Shout out to all the crowd there tonight that have dealt with these conditions. Chilly, rain, fog. Matchups, what this cup is all about. Unfortunately, the weather didn't quite cooperate tonight. Perhaps we'd had a bigger crowd if it had been a nice evening. Sort of fizzling out a little bit now.
Yeah, the wind been sucked out of these players. Again, neither of these sides, particularly in mid-season form at this point.
And that is the only downside about this cup is that it comes right at the start of the professional season. And, well, I guess it went out first, perhaps. No free kick.
Practically everybody going forward now for the home side. Everyone but the goalkeeper. And now actually, it'll be Demora who will take it.
I'm not sure if we'll get the second round matchups announced before tomorrow's game against Omaha. I know they do that in Europe. They will have one game left. They'll announce the winner of this game will play so maybe they'll wait till after that Omaha game tomorrow, perhaps.
Ball comes floating in. Easy for Romig. Would be a truly late stunner now if Long Island found an equalizer. Charlotte don't have to hold on for much longer now. Rafael Halregi, right now the hero of this one.
Romig's only had to make a couple of saves tonight. Made a good one early in the first half. A couple of shaky moments as well in that first half when the conditions were not conducive for a goalkeeper trying to do silly things. There's one last chance here. Ireland to get this ball down the field as quickly as possible. Save. Lamar made some big ones tonight to keep his team in that offside.
The benefit of having that incredibly high line right now for Long Island. And Lamar will make his way forward to blast this one into play again.
Christian Cheney will jog his way back, get his big body wherever this ball is going to land.
Booted upward by Sis. So now we have gone 120 minutes, and it's up to Ignacio Guzman to determine when this one.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have now entered
fit enough amount of
stoppage
soccer.
time. The official time will be kept on the field.
Spielman boots it away. Is there one more shout for Long Island? Tug there from Moreau. And a yellow card.
That'll anger Mike Jeffries. Last thing you want to do is give a set piece up. Allow the ball to be delivered into the box without pressure, and that's exactly what. Here comes Demora.
All hands on deck for the Rough Riders. Perhaps the last chance in this one to send it to penalties. They have fought valiantly through this game, punching up against the Charlotte Independence team. Here comes the service. Kadri tried to recreate his goal, and that one not hit cleanly. It's a wide open goal for the Independents if they could take advantage of it. D'Ambrosio plays it up the pitch. It's a throw in for the Jacks.
I think that should probably do it. Hopefully the Rough Riders can bounce back, win their division again, see them back in this competition next year. Of course, there is also qualification, other methods as well. Open qualifying.
That'll be a free kick for the home team. Is there one final foray? Demora lost this one down the pitch.
Almost too far.
Service inside, takes a touch. Perhaps another swinging cross here. Kadri.
Beautiful defending, and that will do it.
So after a long and arduous 120 minutes, Charlotte are in fact the thoroughbreds in this match. 3-2 your final score in this well-fought affair between the Charlotte Independents and the Long Island Rough Riders. But it will be the USL League One side that will be moving on in the US Open Cup.
Charlotte avoids the banana slip and the cup set here.
Taking on Ironbound FC from New
Tough
Jersey.
place to come play and a tough opponent.
3:30 p.m. right here at Mitchell
Yeah,
Athletic
of all the
Complex.
teams to draw, yeah, this is definitely one of the tougher ones.
Home safe. Good night,
Mike Jeffries.
and God bless.
And these boys will have a happy trip back to North Carolina. See to find out who they get in round 2.
That'll be in April, but first, let's revisit all the drama from this one. Back when there's still fog on the field, Woznicki clears it up a little bit with a heating strike.
We have goal of the round in the US Open Cup, but that one certainly should be in contention.
And Christian Cheney, supplier on this occasion, and it'd be the first of 2 goals for Hauregi.
Lovely touch by Cheney, quality finish.
And here in extra time, thought maybe to be the game winner. Christian Cheney puts this one in. Excellent body control, excellent finish.
It's a professional finish from a professional striker and with a new team.
But just moments later, also a great volley. Elias Kadri puts it home.
Ooh, a ton of traffic. I'm not sure how that got through all those Charlotte bodies without deflecting somewhere.
And then it would be a second goal for Jauregui here. Poor clearance. He'll take it one time. That would give them the lead, and they'd hang on to it for the rest of the game. 3-2, your final score. Now we'll look at the numbers one more time here. I mean, look, those numbers pretty much indicate how even-handed this game was. Really the only edge going to the pros in possession.
Yeah, that possession number didn't really change until second half of the game. Yeah, the stats show what a fight put up by the amateurs from, I'm going to say it right, Mark, Long Island.
Well, that is where this one will wrap up, though. In this battle of men riding horses, it is the racing side in the Charlotte Independents who are victorious. Well, that is where our broadcast will end, our extended broadcast here. Went for 120 minutes. It's the professional side that'll be moving on. 3-2 your final score for our entire broadcasting crew. For Ross Davenport, I'm Mark Schoenster. We hope you enjoyed this show. We certainly did. We'll see you next time here on the US Soccer YouTube channel.